Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. Hope you're doing well. We're going to look at a snippet of Charlie Kirk's widow. Um, Her name is Erika, and she gave probably one of the most bizarre speeches I've ever seen in my life. The speech is actually 16 minutes long. Trust me, you don't want to sit through that 16 minutes. It's crazy. It's strange she laughs through some of it, and I'm like, maybe it was nervousness, I mean, but you will see the snippet and how people responded to it. That's what you're gonna see. Yesterday I had watched, during my live stream, Big Judah also had a live stream, and there was a part in there where he showed this brother with a dolphin, and the dolphin was just going crazy over this brother. And I want to show y'all what dolphins are like with Esau. Y'all ready to see this? Y'all ready to see what dolphins are like with Esau? I think you're going to get a good laugh out of this. At least I did. All right, let's see what dolphins are like with Esau. Hold on. Okay, give me a one if you can see my screen. Give me a one if you can see my screen. Okay. All right. This is what dolphins are like with Esau. All right. Oh yeah, because I'm shark. Those dolphins will bite you. They ain't no joke. They're nothing to play with. Okay. Please give me a one if you could see my screen. Thank you. Okay. This is the widow of Charlie Kirk. They actually met at Turning Point USA. I think she went up there. I don't know if she was looking for a job or what, but that's how they met. And this is 2 days after Charlie Kirk was unalive. She decided to do this speech. I don't know if I was a widow, I would do something like this. I personally think it would have been more effective if she would have done it right after the funeral. But she wanted to do it now. And some people felt like the speech was very awkward, you know? But I'll let you be the judge of this little snippet.
The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. But they should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
Mm, thank you. Okay. Y'all, yeah, a lot of people felt like, but you got to understand, this woman was married to Charlie Kirk. So it shouldn't shock you that this is how the Kirk family is, you know? This is how they are. One big old hating family. So she is just coming out to express herself. Yeah, there were a lot of people that it didn't sit really well with what she put out there. And part of this, because like I said, it's 16 minutes long, there's one part in it where she's over his open coffin. His coffin is open and she's sobbing and talking to him in the coffin. Now you don't see his face, but you do see his body. It looks like he has on a dark blue suit, a red tie, and a white shirt. And she was, leaning over the coffin talking to Charlie. And I don't know if I would have put that on a video. Maybe, I guess, if you're looking for clicks and views, you would do that. But to me, when a wife is grieving over a husband, that moment when you get to view your husband should be kind of an intimate moment between you and your last respects to them. Maybe you see that as wrong. You know, I don't think I would have shared that with the world. If that were to happen to my husband, I would want that moment alone with him, laid in the coffin. I wouldn't want that moment to myself with him. I don't think I would want cameras there recording that moment, that last moment I'm going to ever have with him. To me, that's private, but she put it out there for everybody to see. All right, so let's move on. You're going to get people's responses to what she said.
I just want to say, I am so glad I am not the only one who saw that woman at the podium and was unsettled. Because I didn't, it was just like the live of it on my TikTok, like whatever, on my For You page. I watched literally maybe not even a full minute, maybe a minute and a half tops. And I scrolled because I did not feel right. It just felt horrific. And at first, I thought I was just being dramatic, but I'm so glad that everybody was like, no, that was fucking weird. Because it was fucking bizarre. And I'm just glad that I'm not the only one that caught it. But I do find it funny that the only women that I see talking about it are Black women, as per usual. The only people I've seen say, hey, what the fuck was that, are Black women. Because literally, what the fuck was that? Everything about it, the production aside, the words she was saying, and then the way that she was saying it, that was not a eulogy. That was not a my husband has died. That was a battle cry. That was a call to action. That was unsettling.
In your first speech back about your husband, you're using his death to push a political agenda. Even her words, bro, listen to the words she was using. These evildoers, right? It was one assassin. These evildoers, they're obviously trying to make it out to be the entirety of the left that caused this tragedy. I still stand by what I said about not celebrating anybody's death or not celebrating harm like this, but this is a new level of crazy.
Erika Kirk performative speech is just funny to me. I don't think she realized that she's a white woman. Even and with the ideology that her husband's for, she's talking about, oh, is this legacy gonna live on within us, and this movement's gonna live on. We're gonna push through with this movement. From whom? Who is we? You're not that, ma'am. You're not a white male. When it comes to white supremacy, and yes, your husband did do a lot of ideology in that sense. When it comes to that type of ideology and the mind that he influenced, the use of those white males and with their fragile ego, it's always been in that sense that a woman should be seen and not heard. In that speech, baby, you was heard a little bit too much, right? Like right now, they're just giving her flowers. After a while, they're just gonna ignore her. She'll get the picture.
This one is probably going to be a little bit divisive, but I've seen the video of Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, and her quite bizarre kind of setup for a statement about the loss of her husband. Now, as somebody who's kind of recently lost a very close family member under quite kind of tragic and traumatic circumstances, I can understand how grief is very different for everyone. But what I can't get my head around is that this woman lost her husband a matter of days ago, has 2 young children with him, yet is able to deliver a kind of faultless statement, pre-written statement, obviously, with a smile on her face for a lot of it. It looks like crying, but there are no tears. And the weird thing is that it's in a really staged setup with a photo of Donald Trump as the Times Magazine Man of the Year or whatever it was, and 2 MAGA hats. And also, why is she completely in white? Like, again, I know it's grief and people grieve differently. It's so weird to have this, what looks like, it looks like a marketing piece, is the long and short of it. Like, it feels very cold and very sterile and just very, very bizarre for somebody who lost her husband so tragically. Why is one of the first things that she's doing going out and making this statement thanking the likes of JD Vance and Donald Trump? There's so much already that rings weird about this whole situation, and it doesn't add up. And this really adds to it. Am I the only person that's seeing that and is being a bit like, this is odd?
They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it.
So Erika Kirk just gave a speech about her late husband, Charlie Kirk. But let's be clear, this is not a grieving widow. This is the most dangerous kind of woman, the male-centered woman. She stood up there and she called Charlie the perfect husband, the perfect father, and she promised that his voice, his movement, his mission will live on through her. But what was his mission? Right, inciting hate against minorities, against immigrants, against Black people, against queer people, against women, us. She is not just mourning, she is sanctifying a man who spent his entire career demonizing the very communities that he put at risk. She is taking his politics of cruelty and she is trying to baptize them in widow's grief so that they appear
holy, untouchable, and righteous. And that is the male-centered trap. Women who build their entire identities around a man, no matter how harmful he is, and then become the mouthpiece for his legacy. It's the patriarchy's favorite tool because if she says it, suddenly it looks more soft, more emotional, more justified. But don't get it twisted, because Erika Kirk's battle cry of a widow is not about love or healing. It's about rallying people to continue her husband's hate. And that's why we have to call it what it is: dangerous.
They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. In this world, you have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't.
Who is we? Oh my goodness. So I'm going to try and be respectful as possible because I understand that Erika Trump is one of the few hundred people on this planet that is mourning the loss of her husband. And that is absolutely a normal human response. I'm sure Hitler's wife probably mourned him. I'm sure Stalin's wife probably mourned him. And I'm sure Osama bin Laden's wife probably mourned him upon hearing the news. No comparison whatsoever. Those are just the first names that came off the top of my head. But that being said, I found it a bit weird and a bit odd of her celebrating or her thanking law enforcement for finding, her husband's person who put him to go away, we'll say. We're going to be honest. I don't know what they told you, boo-boo, but little Indian Valhalla man had nothing to do with it. And that's correct. He had nothing to do with it. They are incompetent, dear. It was the father of the boy that you should be thanking. You should be thanking him for turning in his son so that, the FBI could take credit for it. Damn. Then she goes on to talk about heaven. And whoo, I hate to be that guy. I really do. I genuinely really do. But let me inform you on something. Erika Kirk, come here. Come close. Unless Charlie Kirk in his last breath was repenting for the evil and the wicked and the fear-mongering and the race-baiting and the division he caused on this planet, boo-boo, all due respect, with 100% certainty, I can tell you he's not in heaven. He may be in Valhalla, though. Now, I understand some of you may be upset. So let me go to the scripture that Charlie Kirk alleged was professed to be spreading to the people. Let's go. I brought the scripture. Let's go to, if the congregation will follow, Matthew 7. We'll start with verse 17. Bear with me. So every good tree bears good fruit, but the bad tree bears bad fruit.
I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Interesting. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, nor can a bad tree produce good fruit.
This shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? Something changed.
Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then you will know them from their fruits. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven.
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made up new way.
Erika Kirk's speech just proved my point. A lot of conservatives are very disingenuous about the reason why they are conservative. They put it under Christianity, they put it under all these things, but the root of it all is hate. She said something along the lines of, you guys are the reason why he's gone. You just lit a fire. I'm now a widow. And we're going to essentially just, I don't even remember the words, but I know essentially her rhetoric is leftist. This is your fault. And we're going to deal with you guys accordingly. But the person who took your husband's life wasn't even a leftist? Like, do you mean that you're finally gonna raise war against the super, super right-wing conservatives? Because that's who did that. How the fuck black people get in it? How the fuck the gays get in it? How the fuck the leftists get in it? How the fuck we end up the person that you talk about you need revenge on? We literally, and here's the thing, and this is why I say, like, all of these debates about should people die for free speech? Don't ask us. We didn't do it. Don't ask us. Am I missing something here? Shouldn't you be questioning the right-wing conservatives? What do they call it? The Groifers? Groifers? Why do you keep asking leftists, should people die for free speech? We don't know. We didn't do it. We didn't do it.
What the fuck was that Erika Kirk thing? What was that? What was that speech that she just gave? That was some terrifying ass, creepy ass, weird ass shit. Okay? I'm sorry. Listen, she lost her husband. She lost the father of her children. I definitely can sympathize with that. And gosh, her children, that's horrible. Why isn't she with them right now? And why is she giving a speech in full face, like less than 2 days after her husband was like suddenly brutally murdered, like looking into the camera and like threatening us? Like, what is she doing? Why is she acting like we did it? Bitch, go to the fucking jail and talk to that guy. Like, why are you like staring into our souls and like you're coming for us? Like, what? She's clearly being exploited by the Trump administration. I don't know who's exploiting her and getting these like press conferences, but that is weird. Dude, tell me, am I wrong? Did fucking Jackie Kennedy do that like 2 days after her husband was assassinated like that? Like, not to even compare her to Jackie Kennedy, because oh my God, I'm just saying, like, that was weird. That was some Serena Joy ass shit. Okay. Like, that was some Hunger Game. Like, what the fuck are they planning? I'm scared.
This whole thing was weird. How you doing, LVZ? And I saw you too, Tareen. This whole thing is weird, y'all. And when she said the people who did this, well, it was only one guy that got arrested. There was only one rifle found with casings. It's not like it was a bunch of people with weapons there. So, yeah, it sounds like she put a threat out there. And even if you are upset, you should be directing that anger towards the right one, which is Tyler Robinson. But she gave the speech as if she's targeting a lot of people over what happened to Charlie. And it was weird. I actually watched the entire thing this morning, and it was 16 minutes, and it was 16 minutes of the strangest speech I've ever heard in my life. And I saw it over on TikTok. You can see the whole thing. I was not about to play 16 minutes of her babbling over here. Now, I mean, I get she's grieving and all of that, but her behavior, in my opinion, is not that of a widow. And, and she pretty much wanted to put out there that Charlie's work will be carried on. Okay, well, by who? By who? That's what I would like to know. By who? You just saw your husband lose his life out there. You gonna go out there and go out there trying to sound just like them? That wouldn't be in the best interest, because let me tell you, when people want to take you out, they don't care if you're a man or a woman. They don't care. Gabby Gifford, they didn't take her out, but they sure put that bullet up in her head, didn't they? She was lucky to survive that. When they really want to get you, your gender is irrelevant. So, I mean, after seeing that, no, you need to take a humble step back. And, your kids probably really need you now. And, y'all, and I want y'all to think about something. Everything Charlie Kirk spoke against happened to him on that day. I want y'all to think about it. He talked about, and I put that clip in my video of him losing his life that same day. And he said it was okay for some people to lose their life every single year to gun violence, in order to protect Second Amendment rights. And what happened to him? Right? What happened to him? He lost his life to gun violence. The very thing that he said it was okay to have lose people every year that way. He put that out there back in 2023. That's why I said it's like he spoke his own judgment. Then what was the other big thing he spoke about? No black fathers in the home. No black fathers in the home, right? Now your kids don't have you in the home. You know what I mean? You got to look at what the Most High did to him at the end of the day. Now, you're not in the home for those children. I'm just saying, I just see a lot of parallel in the things that he said that has now happened to him. I mean, it's really unfortunate, but at the end of the day, she talking about her husband was doing God's work. That's God's work, trashing the black community everywhere you go. Okay, well that doesn't look very godly. But if that's what you think that is, then it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, it just seems like he spoke his own judgment without realizing he was doing it. But I don't know, maybe she did this speech for a docu-series that they're planning on putting out about Charlie Kirk, and this is going to be part of it. That could very well be what's going on. And whatever series they're doing, I'm sure they offered her a lot of money. The widow of Charlie Kirk, yeah, I'm sure they gave her that might be the reason why she did this, because there might be some big money involved, you know, because it doesn't make sense that she would come out and do something like this. The timing of it all, 2 days after your husband has fallen to gun violence, you come forward to put this kind of speech out. It must be something coming out on the horizon, y'all. Something is going to come out about Charlie Kirk and his life. And this segment that she did is going to be part of that. Mhm. I would think her speech would be more about him and more about, her being grateful that the killer was caught. As a woman that is a widow, I think that would be the main thing that she's focused on, but she's talking about a damn battle cry. Battle cry. So you expect fighting to break out over losing your husband. So we're supposed to break out in this big nationwide fight? Is that what she talking about? Because she was like her battle cry that goes around the world. Shoot, I showed y'all yesterday. They called for a moment of silence over there in Europe, and the politicians banged on their desk and made all kinds of noise for the whole minute of silence because they didn't want to do it for Charlie Kirk. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like an appropriate speech for somebody that just lost their husband. That's all I'm saying. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. This is more than likely, not unless something else earth shattering comes up. This is going to probably be my last live stream for today. So, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming and be on the lookout for my next live stream and premiere. Shalom, family.